A supposed support strike is happening in Marvel Rivals right now. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where people refuse to play support characters that essentially do the healing in the game, or if they do play them, they decide to not actually use their healing abilities to basically save their teammates in any way, shape, or form. And this has got people in an uproar. There's basically a lot of different sides to how this is going on and what is happening. And now I'm a person personally who I like to play devil's advocate. If you follow the channel for a minute, you guys know that, and I want to give my take on this. So first off, we have what they're doing in the game. Right now, Marvel Rivals has upped it to where there's 6 total bans at the beginning of the game, and a lot of people are at this current point in time typing in chat and basically coordinating to get every single support banned in the game that is incredibly good. I want to preference that not every single support is banned, just the ones that are incredibly good are banned at this current point in time. And this is making it where the game is significantly harder through and through. Because this game, unlike Overwatch, for example, just has so much damage. It has a lot of damage, and there is a lot of cover, but there's not a lot like Overwatch, right? When you go and you play Overwatch, for example, you might get like a big box or something like that you can stand behind for a second, or you might get a wall or something. But a lot of the times in Marvel Rivals, a lot of their environment is outside of the area where you would be fighting, making it where you kind of need a massive burst heal, which is a lot of what these main supports do, which is Loki, Invis, Luna, Gambit, and Cloak and Dagger, of course. And like I said, there is other supports outside of this, but these are like the main ones banned essentially every single game. And sometimes they might even throw Rocket Raccoon in here just to, slam everybody down to you have to play an off support essentially. And off supports in this game are still really good, but they tend to not be as good at overall healing. They can't just like infinitely keep the team up. Now, one thing, like I said, we're playing devil's advocate here a little bit. One thing I do want to say about this, as someone who plays hero games and stuff like that, I think banning 2 to 3 of these characters is perfectly fine. And personally, if I was playing right and I am playing in the game, I'd want to ban Gambit because he is incredibly powerful. He can essentially keep your team alive indefinitely if you have a good Gambit. He can do good damage. His ultimate allows you to like anti people. It's similar to kind of like Anna in Overwatch if you know what she does. And overall, he's so powerful. But everybody already knows that. He gets banned in almost every single game for every single season for a minute now. And then after that, I would personally say Cloak and Dagger. Now, this might sound crazy because I do main Cloak and Dagger on support personally, but Cloak and Dagger is one of the supports in the game that, frankly, is just incredibly powerful. Not because she's hard or her kit's intense, but it's because of what she can do. So not only can she basically become immortal for a couple seconds, she can throw like healing walls. She can also throw a blind wall that makes you take more damage if you get blinded by the wall. And her ultimate is essentially a get away from me, is the way that I can put it. Where, let's say you're in overtime, right? You need to take sight and you have to stay on point or you're going to lose the game. And then Cloak and Dagger has ult. Well, guess what? You just lost the game. Why? Not because, frankly, you can't get on the objective, but because Cloak and Dagger is going to put down an ult that's going to do significant damage to you over time that the only counter to is basically like you getting pocketed by your supports, which doesn't happen all the time. There's a lot of circumstances that come up in the game, whether they're getting dived or maybe they don't have ults, or maybe they're playing off, or whatever it is. There's a lot of things that factor into things like this. So I do think banning 2 to 3 supports like Gambit, like Cloak and Dagger, like Invis Woman, and Loki, I think is perfectly okay, right? I do think, though, to add on to this, it is really weird that DPS players and tank players cannot accept the fact that they need to dive supports. And this is something that I had to get ingrained into me a little bit myself. And you think it would be overall common sense, but a lot of people don't even consider looking at the back line of the enemy team. They don't even consider what they could do to maybe snipe the invis or to snipe the cloak and dagger. Actually, if I ban people, I'd probably do gambit and then invis just for the shields, and that's it. Because at least cloak and dagger, like, you can still hit. Like, realistically, I think that is probably the best at the end of the day. But I think the big issue that I've seen a lot of people have with this, which is my personal issue, like as a overall, is AI. I am a D1 AI hater. I will always be a D1 AI hater. I hate AI robots. I hate AI as a platform. I hate AI like anything, especially AIR. I don't respect that. You want to do a support strike, you don't want to play a support, cool. Why are we using AI? Like, how does that make sense? You literally could have just made like some weird post where you crop these guys together in like a green screen. It would have taken probably the same amount of time AI took to generate this. And that is my biggest issue. If you want to know how I know it's AI, for example, unless the artist is just really, really bad, the hands are really weird. That's the easiest way to always tell AI. Like it looks a little weird with these guys, but like you can tell like the fingers are offset, that they have like missing fingers. So unless the artist was really sloppy, it's AI, like through and through. And using AI art for any reason whatsoever is wrong. I am a firm believer that you. I mean, bro, you, especially this guy. He's certified on Twitter. I'm assuming he's a content creator. I don't follow him at all, but like, bro, you could have like thrown in like a PNG or something instead. Like, come on, we being serious? Now, you guys might be asking, what would I ban personally in the game after this a little bit of a rant, and we are going to speed up the video a little bit here. So instead of the supports, what I would actually ban is I would do 2 supports, maybe 3 supports, and then every single game I would ban Phoenix. If you want to know why I would ban Phoenix, let me show you, because this is how strong Phoenix is.
There you are.
Still, full health thing. Now, I'm not the best player in the game, but we'll hit him with a nice little stun. And I mean, what was that, like maybe 4 seconds, and you just obliterate his health bar? And thing is really, really strong. So just imagine this against anybody else in the game. And obviously, you have to hit your shots, but anybody in basically gold or higher is not going to miss on a tank. I think Phoenix should be banned every single game. I love playing her. She's fun to play. She's objectively probably the best character in the game, in my personal opinion. And then I would ban Strange. And that might seem like a weird take, but I would ban Strange because there is so many games where people only come back or they only win because of Portal, right? And it might be a little bit of a nerf to your team.
There you are.
But like, let's be for real. Strange is insane. His melee is good. Like, objectively, his melee is good. His shield is pretty good. His ult is crazy. Like, you get a free stun on them, and if you have a Strange, Phoenix, Moon Knight, you just win. And then you add on top of that his portal has a wide, like, tactic gap, I guess is the way to put it, right? You can lock people in their spawn, you can lock them off of point, you can teleport straight to the point, you can, I mean, nobody really falls for it anymore, but you can teleport people off the map if you want to. And people might say, like, oh, this stuff doesn't work. You guys don't, if you genuinely think Strange shouldn't be banned, let me ask you this. How many games have you played where where you're like, dude, we're about to win, and then they portal directly on top of your noggin?
A foe has revealed themselves.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I mean, where it's like there's significantly better bands like as a overall. Like I think if I if I could choose all six bands, it would literally go Gambit, Invis, and then I would do Phoenix, Groot, Strange, and then maybe Moon Knight depending on map. I'd probably like Moon Knight hella depending on map, just because both of them are insanely strong. Or maybe Bucky too. I mean, if you're fighting an insane Bucky, then it's pretty good. Or it also depends on your team comp. I think you should always save a band slot for team comp, right? Like if you go and you play League of Legends or you play Rainbow Six Siege or you play any other competitive game out there, you're going to ideally ban something that's going to directly affect your gameplay. So if you're like a hardcore Moon Knight main, right? Then you probably don't want to
A
face
foe
a
has
Doctor
revealed
Strange.
themselves.
Like let's just be honest here. You probably just don't want to. You want to ban Strange so you can dive that back line a little bit and you can take out their healers and then they just lose the fight because this game is so revolved around the healers. Like even if you have the craziest tank, craziest DPS in the world, it is incredibly revolved around the healers. And that's why I think banning a couple of them does make sense to get rid of, I mean, a little bit of the brain power. At least in my opinion, like some of the brain power you have to have in some of these games is like it feels like you are fighting like for your life in some of these games. I'm sure some of you guys have experienced that too, where you have played a game and it genuinely feels like you are fighting against the best players in the world, and you know they're not. Like logically, you know they're not, but it just feels like there's no gap. There's nothing you can do
A
about it.
foe has revealed themselves.
And a big reason for that is because you didn't ban the person you probably should have banned. Sorry, I know Phoenix is screaming in the background at me. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about today. I saw this, and let me know what you guys think about the support strike. I think it is a little interesting. Honestly, at the end of the day, do whatever you want. If you want to not play a support because your support gets banned, go for it. If you lose the game, then you have nothing to complain about. I think that's the biggest thing. Like at the end of the day, if there is going to be X thing that you're going to do and then you lose the game, you just have to accept it. And that goes for anybody in any role, like especially like DPS and tank players. If you're like I'm gonna play this guy because this guy's my favorite guy in the game, and then you lose, you just gotta accept it, and that's what it is at the end of the day. But thank you guys for watching, and have a wonderful day. Peace.